All right. So for today's lab, I want you to once again use the cannon and the cannonball. Only this time, we're going to increase the diameter of the cannonball and see. Yeah, I don't want to say more than that because I want you to come up with the question this time. So you click on this here. It takes you to this generic lab formatted. And here's a link to take you to the sim, but we won't go there yet. I want you to cleverly come up with. I've already given you a number of questions that were written for you, so you should be able to refer to them and think about. That we shouldn't take too much thought. The format that I use, I've got this whole process down so formulaic that I really can't see it going wrong as long as you just model what you do after what I've done, and it should be very easy. Independent here, independent variable, whatever you decide to put here. This is generic, you see. So whatever you decide, remember the independent variable is the thing that you're controlling. So if you're going to be increasing the diameter, it's a pretty good hint you're in control of that. So, turn that into a question. And by reading your question, I should have a pretty good idea how you're doing the experiment. But just in case I'm not sure, that's where the procedure comes in, where you elaborate a little bit further. Instead of just giving me one sentence, you actually explain more steps. And just, once you write the procedure, you should be able to visualize all the physical objects that you need for your materials. And then same thing with the hypothesis. It's pretty formulaic. It's just another format for the question. And independent variable, dependent variable, they should come right from these same sources. And then for constants and conclusion and all that, constants are just the things that you're going to keep the same. Conclusion and sources of error, don't worry about those until we actually collect our data. So here we go. Let's go to the simulation. Click lab, let it load. I wouldn't want to fire my cannon. I mean, it's really arbitrary where you could leave it anywhere you want, but one thing's for sure, whatever you set it at, it's got to stay that way the whole time. And same with initial speed. I think I'm going to crank it up a little bit, 25 or something. You can put it at whatever number you want, but the important thing is I want you to turn on air resistance, and then we're going to change the diameter. We're going to start off with 0.1. You can see it right there, 0.1, and it's a cannonball, and we'll just leave the mass the way it is. The gravity is same as here on Earth. So let's fire, and you might have to zoom out because that projectile is going pretty far. And then you use this to check out the range. So 61.9. So 0.1 is the diameter, and that gave us 61.9. So 0.1, I'll say 0.1, and what was it? 61.9. 61.9. All right, so then we go to the next setting. Let's change the diameter to 2. We could go up, 1.1 or 0.11, 0.12, but I don't think you'd see enough difference without a large enough jump. So let's go to 0.2 and fire. We'll be ready with the rangefinder. Ooh, perfect. 61.69, 60.69, and that's 0.2. So obviously the next one would be 0.3, and I guess I could hit tab and go 0.4, tab 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. We're not messing around here. And then it's 1.0. Right, so next one, we increase the diameter to 3, and it might be easier, especially if you're on a Chromebook trackpad, it might be easier just to use the arrow. But anyways, fire again. Now we'll move it. See if we can get it just right. Oh yeah, 58.78, 58.78, 58.78. And you just keep going with that same process. Change it to 0.4, and then fire and measure, fill out your entire data table, and then come up with your question, fill out your procedure, all this stuff. And you may or may not want to attempt the conclusion and sources of error until you finish. But yeah, just let me, I guess, help you with the conclusion and sources of error, unless you feel like you might be able to do it just from the previous write-ups that you've seen. But in the future, very near future, I will create a video where I finish this whole process and I write out the procedure and write out the materials and everything, and you can compare your work to mine. All right, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe.